You're right. I did lose $1 million last year. I expect to lose $1 million this year. I expect to lose $1 million next year. You know, Mr. Diamond, at that rate of $1 million a year, I'll have to close this place in 60 years.
It's time to take an inside look at those that are taking their lives, their businesses, and their passions to the next level. Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. I'm your host, Lou Diamond. Today on Thrive Loud, we have the head of Strategy Sprints. They do one thing. They double your revenue in 90 days. They help SaaS and Services companies, consultants, agencies, advisors, educators, and they help them grow. He's also the host of the Strategy Show. Cool podcast. We like it. We love having podcasters on here. And we're going to learn more about it in this chat. Thrive Loud listeners, worry less, sprint more. As I bring you Simon Severino. Simon, how are you today?
Hey, Lou D. Hey, Lou D Nation. Hello, everybody. So cool to be here.
I love it. So Simon's coming to us from across the pond. You're in Italy. Are you not? Is that where you are?
I'm an Italian in Vienna, Austria.
Oh, you're in Austria. Well, awesome. How did you get up there? What's the weather? Is it a nice weather this time of year? We're recording this in mid-May. Everything's like spring is in the air.
It's a strange spring. It's too cold and too hot at the same time. It's funky.
Very cool. Okay, so you have a very cool process in business, and I want you to share a little bit of the story before we talk about how you do what you do. I want to rewind the clock a little bit and learn how this became your gig. So can you share with the listeners maybe just the fast forward version of your expertise and your career and how we got here?
I have been doing only one thing the last 18 years, and that is coaching business owners in go-to-market, like how you enter and dominate a market. And I've been doing it the traditional way. You know, you fly there with an army of people, and then you do your magic, you solve some problems, and then you fly back. And I was super miserable on the way because every city was the same, every hotel was the same. I didn't enjoy it quite anymore. I was loving it, but then year after year, I was enjoying it less. And so I went on my own, and now I was my own client. So who will coach me now? I look around, I see these business coaches, and I go, no way, these guys, no way. And so, hey, something is broken here. Can you imagine a doctor not believing in health? So I was like, there is something fundamentally broken here. What would be an ideal coach that's really helpful? What would be the way to be coached that I really need? And my picture was something completely different. No flights, plug and play, works on the phone, works while I'm jogging, works in a day where I can be with my kids and I can do exercise. And in between, I don't have 8 hours of workshop for 3 days. Where does this 8-hour thing come from? I need right now 5 minutes, and then maybe in 3 hours, 5 minutes. And then but in between, I do stuff. And I come back with the number, and then I show you the numbers, and then we decide together, and then I go and run again. That's what I need. And then I saw with my kids, I saw the new Spider-Man, where he's like 16 years old, super excited, jumping around. And then his friend at home, the guy in the chair, and he said, should I kick the left door or the right door? And he goes, give me a second. And then he comes back, kick the left door. And I was like, that's a coach. This is what entrepreneurs need. Where is this?
I love it. You're the guy in the chair. I love it.
Yes. And I was like, okay, I need a guy in the chair. Where's the guy in the chair? And that's what we built. That's now the sprint coach. The sprint coach is the guy in the chair.
I love this. So this is very short dosage, but high effectiveness in a short amount of time to provide the right answers and solutions for and by the way, this is what I love. And as I mentioned this in the intro, a very, very specific niche of what you need to help. So you've been doing all that consulting stuff, and now there are SaaS and service businesses, and specifically that service, the SaaS companies, listeners, obviously, software as a service for those that are listening. What is it specifically that you have that expertise? And maybe I'll ask this question a little differently. What's the most common problem that those SaaS companies are facing today as it relates to their growth and revenue that you're seeing?
We're seeing two main problems. One is the world is shifting, and as the world shifts, the needs of their customers shift. And so one main problem is how quickly can we adapt? How can we listen to what's going on? How can we embrace it? And how can we reshape our offer accordingly to be relevant right now?
Okay.
Because you don't want to come with old stuff into a new situation. So you need an answer to these questions. And the questions have changed and are changing and will be changing. So the first part is, how can we build it more like Lego and less like Duplo?
Got it. Very smart, Mark.
Because usually we have two categories of clients right now. We are working with dozens of business owners every week. And basically we have two categories. The ones that have a sales problem, the other one that have a growth problem. So ones are not selling enough. They need to sell more quickly. Otherwise they won't be around next year as everything is reshaping. And the other category, they are growing so fast. They are hiring 2 people a day and they are scaling chaos, which is also a problem, because if you have been scaling, you know that you are riding a big wave and you can fall down quickly. Mm-hmm. So these are the two problems. The first one needs to listen better, reshape the offer, and be built like Lego, not like Duplo. So you need small cycles of 3 days, 4 days, 7 days that tell you the right numbers, ops numbers, marketing numbers, sales numbers, so that you can, what we call a sprint, a 7-day cycle in which you gather data. So there is action, data, decision, action, data, decision. That's a 7-day cycle.
Got it.
The other guys that are growing so fast, we have clients growing at 47%, at 61%, because right now, if you are a digital company and if you are in a relevant position, right now you are soaring. So these guys are soaring, they are hiring like crazy, they need hiring templates, they need a solid interview process, they need templates, everything needs to be standardized, like BMW building a car. That's how you need to have your processes written down. So with them, we are creating SOPs.
I like it. So this is awesome. By the way, you have fast tracked the things that are needed most commonly. I want to get to the thing that you can promise. You're able to double revenue in 3 months, in 90 days. That could be a tall order for some of these clients. Those that are coming to you obviously are looking for growth. And then the bigger ones that are controlled, that could be a tough ask. You say no to certain businesses because you might not be able to make the promise, or you can, but they might not be the best fit for you.
We only pick very few clients per month. And we do a thorough diagnosis, and they have to qualify for the sprint. The sprint is not the best thing for everybody. There are 8 criteria that they need to meet. And then after these 8 criteria, we do a check of the 11 elements of the system and where really the bottleneck is and what they can really achieve. After that, we create a game plan. And so if we take them on, we'll do a thorough game plan. And it's like a doctor who checks many parameters before they say, okay, this is the one thing that is the solution. We don't come with the solution. We come with a diagnosis. We find out which piece is really the bottleneck, because at the beginning, everybody thinks I need more leads, which is usually the wrong.
Right.
It's a symptom and it's how they perceive it, but it's usually not the bottleneck. And the bottleneck is somewhere in the back, how you relate to people.
Yeah.
But first, if you call them leads, that's the first problem.
Because you're not thinking of them as a relationship or a connection. You're just putting them out as not the type of client that you want to be working with, right?
Exactly. Do you want to be called lead from your friends?
Right.
So then you are not really in a relationship. You're not seeing them. And that's the first problem. And the second is they usually have enough. You don't need so many. You need to convert better and to have a more relevant offer. So with 1,000 people in your ecosystem, you can have a thriving business, a 7-figures business that really helps people.
I like it.
And 1,000 people, everybody has 1,000 people. If you put together all your social media contacts, you got 1,000. You don't need more than that. Most people come and say, hey, I need more leads. And after the diagnosis, we find that they don't have a sales script. They don't have a system to upsell, to cross-sell. They don't have a referral system. They don't have an NPS system on how to ask what's working, what's missing. So all these quick wins, we have a full list of things that are relatively easy to achieve and usually missing. And that's why the sprint in 90 days can double revenue.
I love it. And I could see your creativeness, your team, your business. Is it just you, or is there's a whole army of people that we don't know about that you travel on planes with?
Right now it's a global army. It was Simon doing his thing. And then it became bigger than Simon. And then I was the bottleneck. So I did fire myself from fulfillment. I said to myself, Simon, you will never coach again. And that was an emotionally big moment for me, but it was quite a small moment for the company, because I created an online course like I would for a client, but I did it for my colleagues and I started teaching them. And so they started learning it and they started thriving. Other people wanted also to become like them. I was just doing sales and they were doing fulfillment. And we had a pretty good year. Everybody was jumping in and say, hey, this is a train that I like. I want to jump on this train. And so, and I said, okay, let's do it a certification. I built a 2-month certification. And now it's a franchise system where people get certified. We meet every Monday. So we are a team, but also everybody is in this Avengers team. Everybody has their own superpowers and their own country and their own location, and they thrive. We have a brand together, but everybody has a lot of freedom and they can scale it up or down according to their life situation. And they're crushing it. We have people in Los Angeles, in San Francisco. Thomas in Los Angeles, he is teaching since 17 years. He's teaching at the university in Los Angeles how to run businesses. Right. And now he's also a sprint coach.
Right.
And we have in Shanghai, we have Lawrence. And in Europe, we have a ton of people. And every day I'm getting 3 new applications for a sprint coach.
Spectacular and awesome. And the fact that you've, taught those how to fish to be able to go. I'm also loving your vibe for the passion for the Marvel comics or whatever it is, whether Spider-Man or your superheroes or whatever it is. I could see that's kind of in your thing. We'll get to that in a little bit. I love asking leaders like yourself this question. And it's a really interesting one because you host a podcast show. And you have taken this business. Talk about the strategy show and what that's about so our listeners can connect a little bit with what you do and what that program is all about.
Yeah, we recently rebranded to the Strategy Sprints podcast because my friend Ali, who is an amazing YouTuber, Ali Abdal, shout out, he's the best. And he said, Simon, why do you have a company called Strategy Sprints and a podcast called Strategy Show? Call it Strategy Sprints. And I was like, yeah. And I did it 10 minutes later. He was just right. So the Strategy Sprints podcast, I started it 3 years ago. And it's funny how we started it. A friend of mine, Gregor, he says, hey, Simon, we should start a podcast. And I said, okay, let's do it. And Gregor, what is a podcast? And that's how I roll with friends, especially if you give an impulse, I take it. I say yes, and that's how I like to live life. Yes,
a true coach at heart. Still, see, you're still getting that coaching in, even in podcasting. I love it.
You cannot take the coach out of me, of course. And so, I say yes. We start the podcast. After a couple of months, it was too intense for him, but I kept going. And now we are 3.5 years later, and I go live every day. I have one guest every day, and I have one monologue per week where I just share one thing. Usually it's one problem to solve: how to onboard somebody, how to structure your sales, some practical entrepreneurial topic.
I like it. And we'll put all the show note links to that when we get to that part of the program here. And now I'm going to get to a signature question we ask here on the show, Simon. Look at you. You've got strategy sprints thriving. You're literally global. You've transformed hopping on planes and helping people to creating education to train the trainers and then provide great stuff. You took yourself out. You've got a thriving business. This stuff is amazing. You're helping all these companies truly thrive, which means on most days you are thriving. However, we all have days, Simon, when we're not quite kicking on all cylinders and we're a little off our game. Simon, when you have trouble thriving, who or what practice do you seek to get yourself back on the thriving track?
I do running every day, whatever happens. So that's a sacred moment before breakfast. Simon does run 10 kilometers out there in nature. That's a given. I don't check the weather. I don't check how I feel. I just do it.
I was going to say, you live in Vienna, no matter what it is, like, what if there's like a real big snowstorm? I guess you're still running.
Yes, snow is super cool. Rain is a bit less comfortable, heavy rain and cold, but you can do that for 1 hour without getting sick. I'm doing it. And so the running is the staples. That's a given. But on a day where I feel bad, when I need that extra help, I do a Wim Hof breathing, which is around 17 minutes of strong. It's like hyperventilation. You go like 3 rounds, and then you hold it for 2 minutes, 3 times. And that is, I find, very centering. It is also right now, it is very good for your lungs. So I didn't see numbers about it, but if I had COVID and I was thinking how to recover, that would be my go-to number one thing, because it trains the lung, it cleanses the lung. And why I do it is more of an emotional thing, that it centers me again, whatever it is. It's like a refresh. It centers me and it opens me up, especially here in the heart zone. It makes me more open and more open, more humble, more connected with everybody around.
Love it. We had a guest on the program, shout out to Emilio Palafax. He shared that he does that type of breathing. He may have called it something different, but his description of it was exactly as you did and getting the same results. So kudos to you. I now have heard it twice very recently. So very cool. Let's do the admin part of the show, Simon. Share with the listeners all the places people can learn about you, strategy sprints, websites, URLs. We will put it all in the show notes, but it gets way more engagement when they hear it from you.
So if you like podcasts, I'm on YouTube every day. It's the Strategy Sprints podcast. If you like groups, we have a Facebook group where I hang out every day. It's a private group, but if you say you come from Lou, I will let you in. And it's called Entrepreneurship in Sprints. It's a Facebook group and we are having fun. We discuss sales and growth and what doesn't work and what works, and we're having a lot of fun. And then my website is strategysprints.com. And I also do every day a small Instagram thing that's Strategy Sprints.
I love it. And by the way, he's got a real popular YouTube channel. You guys got to go check this out. He does a really good job of this. And he's such a good looking guy. I'll tell you, those Italians living in Austria, who knew that they were so sharp? Well, this is awesome. Ready to go down Fun Street with me, Simon? for this part of the show? I know you are, because you're always about fun.
Ooh, sure.
Simon, you shared with me a favorite movie of yours. Can you share with the listeners what the movie that you shared with me, what one of your all-time favorite movies is?
I love Ford versus Ferrari.
Okay, why does that movie connect so much with you? That is a great movie, by the way. I saw it recently again.
My business coach at that time, when this came out, my business coach said to his wife, I have to tell Simon. So this is about the story of my life. It's a sprint movie. Yeah. And the one sentence that really knocks me off every time is because that's what I did for 17 years. I was in big corporations and I was telling them, you will never win in committees. Start creating from the individual. Start doing and then you discuss. Do not discuss, create and then discuss. And that's basically what the movie is about. And there is a moment when one of the actors says to the other, you cannot win a race with committees.
Yeah. I think it may have been Matt Damon's character. I can't remember if it was him or Christian Bale's character, but it is for listeners who haven't had a chance to see Ford vs. Ferrari. First of all, it's based on a true story, which makes it even more unbelievable on how Ford won the Grand Prix back in the 50s in an unprecedented time, and an absolute great story about what it takes to win and the level of details that they went through to fix the problems, to get things to work, but also, a crazy political world of what the world of racing was like too. So really cool stuff, and definitely I love that story. We're going to go down the speed round of Fun Street. This is what I know you're ready for, Simon, because I know, look, this is perfect. We are doing the speed round with the man who has strategy sprints. So you should be able to handle this perfectly. You with me? The way this is going to work, I'm going to ask you something. I want the first thing that comes to your mind. These are things that lift you up, make you feel good, make you thrive, more or less. Ready?
Ready.
A song that you love to hear or one that pumps you up.
The Wall, Pink Floyd.
I do love The Wall, so I could listen to that over and over again. A favorite food that is not a dessert.
Avocado.
A favorite dessert.
It's sachatorte. It's a chocolate cake here.
Oh, I know that. I've had that. That is delicious. I like that. An activity you wish you did more of.
Swimming.
An activity you wish you did less of.
Being angry.
Are you angry that often?
Every day. Every
day you're angry.
Yeah, not very long, but very often.
Give some anger fish. I guess that's the passion and the Italian in you. I love it. Simon, if I snap my fingers and you can be anywhere in the world, where are you?
Bali.
I think that's like the number one answer that most people say. We should probably like rank it out of all the people I've asked. It's either Bali or some crazy island somewhere. I've never been, so I got to check it out. But it definitely was a good place. One last question for you, because we hit this earlier on. You love the superheroes, and you've been interjecting some of it for the Spider-Man or this or that. Two questions from here. One, who's your favorite superhero?
Good question. Who's my favorite? I love every I love Spider-Man. I love Superman. I love Hulk. Let's go with Hulk. My kids love him.
If you could describe yourself as a superhero, what is the superpower that you bring to the world, Simon? What is the thing that you do that saves businesses, companies, people, your family, whatever it might be? What is the superpower that Simon brings to the world?
Wow. I am the super connector. I bring people together that will create magic, because they need to come together right now. So I'm the super connector. Now, who is the superhero who does that? Not sure.
That's you. That's all I was asking. That's okay. I didn't have to make a parallel. I'm saying, that's
who brings the Avengers together in the Avengers movie.
There you go.
They just come together.
I mean, you could say that it's, the guy with the patch, right? What's his name? Fury, right? He technically does, right? but I think it's more like Captain America, whatever that might be. I could see you with the shield. Yeah, you're a badass that way. Simon Severino, thank you so much for coming on Thrive Loud. This is awesome. Strategy sprints. I love the short doses and getting the problem solved quickly. Thanks for coming on the program. Great to connect with you here today.
Thank you, Mr. Lou D. Keep rolling.
You got it, man. And to all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us. And until next time, keep thriving onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Check us out on the web at thriveloud.com and follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at Thrive Loud. And check us out on the Good Pods app at Thrive Loud, where you can follow, listen, and connect directly to Lou and all of the Thrive Loud episodes. Thanks for listening.